Keywords: brow, celery, tail, and clock. Once upon a time there was a chocolate castle, and in this castle lived a princess, and she was very vain and unpredictable, and she always wanted to look nice, to have the finest clothes, and not just to have the finest clothes, but to have them properly buttoned and zipped, and combine the proper materials like velvet and silk, and all the color shades had to fit and everything. And every hair, every piece of her face, every hair in the brow had to be completely on the spot. So she had three women helping her, dressing her up, combing her hair, and she had a special standing clock which did not have numbers on the keyboard like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so forth. Instead of numbers, it had the names of different hygiene chores that had to be done, like comb my hair, brush my teeth, put on makeup, straighten my eyebrows, and so forth. And she had this entire crew of women helping her get dressed, and this always took 90 minutes. She was very, very precise about that, but she was not as precise and not as caring about other things, like how she treated other people, how she left the room when she left it, like when she had breakfast in the chocolate castle. Custom breakfast was croissants and donuts and lots of sweets and dessert. And as specific as she was about clothing and looks, she was very sloppy about other things. Like when she was eating, sometimes she would just drop the crumbs all over, or she would take a spoonful of sugar to put in her mug and she would spray half of it over the table and just leave everything lying around. And as she grew older, her attitude became more and more bitter and unfriendly towards the people living in the castle and serving her. And usually when there was a good breakfast and everything was okay, she was just rude and resentful to everyone. But then one day there was a problem with delivery of food, and instead of her ordinary delicious savory and sweet breakfast choice on the buffet, she had celery sticks. There were a few donuts and croissants, but they looked shabby. And on the center of the table there was a large silver platter with celery sticks, and then little golden bowls filled with different kind of dips. Like there was salmon, there was mayo, there was eggplant, and there was aubergine as well, because aubergine was the more posh version of eggplant. And she would sit at a table and look at that celery atrocity, and she would throw a tantrum, and she would start throwing dishes around and yelling at everyone that she would not eat that and how rude they were for not giving her what she wanted. And then she just stormed out, leaving a mess in her wake, and went to the castle barn to go for a ride. And of course, just as her manservant and herself, she also demanded that all the horses be taken care of, that they wear cloths, that they have braided hair, that they have everything adorned perfectly as she desired. And as she was walking through the barn, she was still in this tantrumy mood, just looking for revenge, looking for someone else to take it out upon. And she had made very clear a long time ago that if the horses would not be adorned according by her personal measurement rulebook, she would have their heads chopped off. And she was really, really looking for a reason to vent. But as she was walking, she noticed in the last of the boxes in the stall, there was not a horse but a unicorn, a glimmering white unicorn. And unlike the horses, who were all neatly trimmed and taken care of according to her demands, the unicorn was ruffled, its tail was unbraided, it did not have the silk strings, and it did not have the little bells that she demanded that the horses have. But just the sight of her took her breath away, and she decided to approach the beast, but she was not angry anymore. She was not arrogant. She realized that because this creature was emanating something so powerful, she realized that some beings are best left in their natural power, even if that means that they are a bit messy, that they are wild, that they are not according to the rule book. And just this energy emanating from this unicorn, it was so humbling to her that she kneeled down in front of it, and they locked eyes, their gazes met, and she felt that this unicorn had seen not just through and through her soul, but way down through every reincarnation she had ever lived, to the core of her, through to the very begin. And she realized all her arrogance, all her wrong ways, and she felt so humbled. She felt so sorry for the way she had been treating people, and she just stood there humbled under the gaze of this unicorn, let this energy and this realization flow through her, bowed her head, knelt again, and went back to the castle, to the chocolate castle kitchen, where the staff was busy cleaning up the mess she had made. And without saying a word, she just took the cleaning cloth and started cleaning up the mess together with them. Like, all the celery dips were everywhere, the platter was broken into pieces and so forth. And the staff, they were shocked, because they had expected another reprimand, they had expected shouting or punishment, but instead this once so arrogant princess just started helping them clean, and clean the entire kitchen together with them. And as they were done, she said, "I am very sorry for the way I treated you all, and let's now all have breakfast together." And they sat down, and she explained that she had realized her ways were wrong, and she was determined to change and to talk to them and to get to know them better. And she became a really much better ruler, a much more confident, but also much more compassionate and understanding to her fellow beings. And she never threw tantrums again. She became more respectful, a better leader. The only thing that still remained was her standing clock, which instead of numbers had different chores that had to be done. So she was still very meticulous about the way she looked and dressed, and every hair in her brow had to be combed every morning. But for the rest, she kind of let go and developed a softer, more friendly vibration. And that's end of story. Thank you, Barbara, for the keywords. I really enjoyed them. I really enjoyed getting them like three minutes before, because then I don't even have this subconscious input of the words. So for tomorrow, please someone give me the keywords as late as possible. We meet again at 6, and I'm still rooting for someone to come join me to do either an improv duet or to come tell their story as they've practiced and developed it through time. Thank you, everyone, and I will see you tomorrow at 6. Bye-bye.